Hey guys, I'm Brian from Impact Martial Arts and Impact Defense.
Hey, and I'm Matthew.
And today we're going to talk about how actually most knife defense techniques are going to get you killed. All right, don't get us wrong. We're not saying that every single knife defense technique out there is bad or there's only one or two good ones. Actually, there are people out there who've done lots and lots of training that can make some work for them that wouldn't work for other people. But still, if they are not practicing that realistically with realistic force and realistic speed, then they're not going to make it work in a real situation. All right, so let's start off by talking about your training partner and what they have to do. Because believe it or not, the training partner has so much to do with this. They help to feed the bull crap a lot of times in these situations. So they have to make sure that they are actually attacking realistically. Now, what we have here is a training knife, actually, that's completely dull. Now, it's still metal. It gives a really, really good feel. But if you're not comfortable with that, you may want to invest in a padded training knife. Something like this that's made by Action Flex works really, really well for striking, slashing, and stabbing. Now, don't get me wrong, even though it's padded, it is not comfortable, but it is a safer option. So we have to understand that people do not strike in a big circular pattern. And that's where a lot of people have problems because they are working from a knife defense for somebody doing this, and they are waiting and waiting and then coming in, boom, and then going into some type of technique. Okay, it's not realistic. People do not actually attack that way. People come in for short slashes when they're here. So it's a quick stab and slash. Or people come in with almost like a sewing machine motion where they're stabbing and pulling back and stabbing and pulling back. So it is a constant go. Okay, when we're training for stabbing, most people train for somebody who goes, and stabs in real hard and then holds the arm out for you. People are not ever going to hold their arm out for you. Okay, so two things that we have seen that we have tried that just will not work comes off of a stab where somebody maybe does like an X block and then tries to bring the arm around. Okay, now doing this in a slow motion with a compliant partner, it'll work. But when you have somebody that is not just sitting there holding their arm out, but pulling it back after the stab, it does not really work. Are you ready? Another one goes off of from here, the side step, grab the hand, and then turn into a wrist lock takedown. The problem with this one is it also relies on the person not pulling their hand back. If he's here, if I can sidestep it, when I'm trying to grab it, it pulls right out of my hand. Even if I have the wrist in this position, now if he returns his elbow to the side, I can't hold on to it. Other people say you should ignore the knife or just block the knife while you strike at the jaw. I realize the jaw is the off switch to the body, and I think that's a great thing if he's not holding onto a knife. But since he's holding onto the knife and I'm blocking and striking at the same time, that gets to be a lot to have to think about at one time. To not think about the knife, you're gonna get stabbed or cut. But if I'm trying to block it, then I'm sitting there thinking about trying to block and trying to punch, and I may miss the block, I may miss the punch. There are just too many things that could go wrong at this time. I realize there are many other techniques very similar to this, and I'm gonna be honest with you, there are some people that can make some of these work, but we have to understand that these people have devoted years and years and years to these very types of defenses. Our goal is to take these attacks and give the simplest and quickest way to learn to actually defend them. So what actually works for most people in a knife attack type of situation? Well, first off, run. Get out of there. That is going to be your best bet if somebody pulls out a knife. Now, if you can't get out of there for any reason, you have no escape route, or for any reason you're trying to protect someone else, then you have to fight, and you have to fight hard. Understand that if somebody actually pulls a knife on you, you are probably going to get cut if you're actually having to defend against it. We want to make sure that we are isolating the arm. We don't want to give him free ability to continue to stab, continue to slash. We have to actually stop that arm. And we're going to go over a couple of ways right now to do that. Okay, so when isolating that arm, you're going to use both hands here. Now, my hand is going to try to reach across and catch that wrist. At the same time, my other arm is sliding up here. From this position, I am bringing his arm and pinning it to my side. here in this position. All right, from this side, he comes in, boom. I am going to come in, grab, slide this arm through, boom, and I'm completely attaching his arm to my body. Now, as he tries to move and get away, I've got this whole arm attached to my body. So it's gonna make it very hard for him to actually do any kind of real damage to me. Okay, so if somebody is slashing you, your defense is exactly the same. So I'm right here and he slashes in. It actually just makes it easier for you to not get stabbed in that position. So I'm sliding right in, hand to the arm, this hand slides through, boom, and now I'm in really tight. All right, the other way is very similar. It's just gonna go to the outside. Now, as I step and go to the outside here, it's kind of almost like that one we were talking about a moment ago where we're doing this thing right here, but it's realistic. So if he comes in and I got here, and a lot of people love to what if every situation. So what if he tries to reach for the knife? I'm just gonna step back and aim down.
All right, so as he bends down, he is actually hyperextending my elbow, which is also pulling muscles in the shoulder and just making it all kinds of uncomfortable where I cannot reach over my body to grab the knife in that way.
Now, once I have control, be it this way or this way, I'm just gonna start striking with everything else that I have. Now, understand, I have two arms wrapped up on one of his arms. I know that, and the most he's gonna be able to do is hit me with that arm right there. But what he is lacking in this moment is leverage. So he's not gonna be able to pull off something really, really damaging. What I want to do now at this point in time is I'm gonna start striking him. I have knees, boom, I can stomp on his foot, boom. I can even headbutt, bang. Make sure if you're headbutting, you're using the top part of your forehead, about your hairline. All right, so after you've struck him a few times, then you can move into some type of takedown. Now from this position, it's actually fairly easy. I'm just gonna step behind his leg and finish him taking him down here. Now, if he goes down, you're not gonna be nice. You can get away. If you have to continue to fight, you're gonna fall with your knees on top of him. But otherwise, you're just wanting to get away. That is our whole purpose in self-defense, is to get out of the situation. Winning the fight is getting away. All right, guys, thank you very much for watching this video. If you would like to see more content like this, be sure to go down below. Make sure you hit subscribe and like the video. I'm having to think about multiple things at one time, and that gets to be a little crazy. You just stabbed the back of my head. I'm sorry. It's okay.
Oh, it was going so good until that.
Okay, so when we're proposing, no, not proposing.
Will you be my murder victim?